Lieutenant Rachel Wilson had done this patrol route 100 times before. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter was usually quiet, just rocks tumbling through the void and the occasional mining vessel. But today, her ship's sensors picked up something different, an energy signature unlike anything in the database. Command, this is Wilson. I'm detecting an anomalous reading in Sector 7. Permission to investigate. Permission granted, Lieutenant. Maintain contact and proceed with caution. Rachel guided her patrol craft toward the source, weaving between the larger asteroids. The signature grew stronger until she rounded a particularly massive rock and saw it, a sleek vessel of clearly alien design, its hull gleaming with an iridescent purple sheen. Her heart raced as she opened a broad-spectrum channel. Unknown vessel, this is Lieutenant Rachel Wilson of the Earth Space Force. Please identify yourself. The response came not through her communications system, but directly in her mind, a gentle feminine voice that somehow felt both alien and familiar. I've been waiting for you, Rachel. Before she could react, a beam of light enveloped her ship. When her vision cleared, she found herself standing in a chamber that seemed alive, with walls that pulsed with bioluminescence. And there, before her, stood the most beautiful woman she'd ever seen, if woman was even the right word. The alien was humanoid but clearly not human. Her skin had a subtle lavender tint, and her hair seemed to float as if underwater, shifting between deep purple and midnight blue. Her eyes were entirely silver, with no pupils or iris, yet they conveyed such depth of emotion that Rachel felt herself drawn in. I am Clara, the alien said, now speaking aloud with a melodic accent. And I carry your child. Rachel staggered backward. That's impossible. I've never. Your genetic material was carefully chosen from thousands of human candidates, Clara explained, placing a hand on her slightly swollen abdomen. My people have been studying humanity for decades, searching for the perfect match for our hybridization program. But why me? And why didn't you just ask? Clara's expression softened. The politics between our worlds are complex. Official contact would have taken years of negotiation. But we are running out of time. My species is dying, Rachel. Genetic stagnation has left us unable to adapt to changing conditions. This child represents hope, a new beginning for both our peoples. Rachel's military training warred with the strange connection she felt to this alien woman. I should report this immediately. You could, Clara said. But then both I and the child would be taken, studied, dissected. Is that what you want? Rachel looked at Clara's abdomen again, trying to process the fact that somehow, impossibly, her child was growing there. No, I need time to think. This is too much. Time is something we have little of, Clara said, stepping closer. Your superiors are already tracking my ship. Soon they will send others. I need to know now, Rachel Wilson, will you help protect your child, or will you turn us over to your scientists? Rachel's hand moved unconsciously toward Clara's belly, stopping just short of touching it. The choice before her would change not just her life, but potentially the future of two species. And deep down, she already knew her answer. The pull Rachel felt toward Clara was unlike anything she'd experienced before, not just physical attraction, but a deep, almost psychic connection that made her question everything she'd been taught about alien life. I'll help you, Rachel said finally. But we need to be smart about this. If my superiors detect your ship. They already have, Clara interrupted, her silver eyes flashing with urgency. Your patrol wasn't a coincidence, Rachel. They've been tracking my energy signature for days, waiting for someone to make first contact. Rachel's military training kicked in. Then we need to move. Now. My ship has a stealth mode that might mask our escape, but we'll need a destination. I have a sanctuary prepared, Clara said, placing her hand over Rachel's and sending images directly into her mind, a distant moon orbiting a gas giant, with underground chambers built to sustain both human and alien life. But reaching it will be dangerous. Are you certain about this decision? Before Rachel could answer, alarms blared through Clara's ship. Multiple vessels approaching, a melodic computer voice announced. Earth Space Force signatures detected. Rachel made her choice. Interface with my ship's computer. Transfer all essential systems to my control. We'll use my patrol craft's credentials to slip past the blockade they're probably already setting up. Clara's ship pulsed with patterns of light as it linked with Rachel's vessel. The alien woman moved gracefully to what appeared to be a control center, her hands dancing over surfaces that responded to her touch. The integration is complete, Clara said. But Rachel, there's something else you should know. She hesitated, her ethereal features showing very human uncertainty. The child, it isn't just a random genetic merger. My people believe in soul bonds, connections that transcend physical form. You were chosen not just for your genetic compatibility, but because our essences resonate on a quantum level. This child represents a joining of not just our bodies, but our spirits. Rachel felt the truth of it in the strange connection they already shared. She stepped closer to Clara, drawn by an irresistible force. I don't understand any of this, she admitted. But I feel it. And I won't let anyone harm either of you. The ship's alarms grew more urgent. On the view screen, multiple Earth Space Force vessels emerged from behind nearby asteroids, their weapons charging. Lieutenant Wilson, power down your vessel and prepare to be boarded, a stern voice commanded over the comm, this is a direct order. Rachel took Clara's hand, marveling at how natural it felt despite the alien texture of her skin. Ready for a little rebellion, soul bond? Clara's smile was both mysterious and mischievous. I knew I chose well with you. Together, they initiated the escape sequence, their ships merging into one as they prepared to fight their way to freedom, and a future neither of them could have imagined just hours before. The underground sanctuary on Europa was more beautiful than Rachel had imagined. Bioluminescent crystals lined the ice caverns, their light reflecting off the polished walls in ever-changing patterns. Clara explained that her people had built this haven centuries ago, preparing for the day when their species would need to evolve or perish. The ice above protects us from detection, Clara said, leading Rachel through chambers that seamlessly blended organic Lasari technology with the moon's natural formations. And the ocean below provides all the energy we need. 3 months had passed since their escape from Earth's forces. The diplomatic talks that Admiral Hawthorne promised had stalled, complicated by hardliners on both sides who viewed the hybrid child as an abomination. But here, deep beneath Europa's surface, Rachel found herself caring less about politics and more about the miracle growing within Clara. She's dancing again, Clara said, placing Rachel's hand on her now prominent belly. Through their strengthening bond, Rachel could feel their daughter's consciousness, bright, curious, and already showing signs of both human determination and Lasari insight. She gets that from you, Rachel said, smiling as she felt a particularly strong kick. The dancing, I mean. I've seen how you move when you think no one's watching. Clara's silver eyes sparkled. And here I thought I was being stealthy. She winced suddenly, pressing a hand against the wall for support. What's wrong? Rachel moved to steady her, concern flooding their bond. The pregnancy progresses faster than we anticipated. The hybrid vigor. Clara took a deep breath. My people gestate for 14 months. Humans for 9. Our daughter seems determined to split the difference. Rachel helped Clara to their living quarters, a comfortable space where crystal light danced across walls lined with both human and Lasari art. The past months had seen them gradually combining their cultures, learning each other's stories, music, and traditions. What had started as a genetic experiment had bloomed into something far more profound. I never thought I could feel this way about someone who wasn't human, Rachel admitted, settling Clara onto their bed. But now, the differences seem so small compared to what we share. That is why you were chosen, Clara said, pulling Rachel down beside her. Your capacity for love transcends form. Our daughter will need that quality to bridge our worlds. A soft chime interrupted them, the sanctuary's warning system. Rachel moved to check the monitors, her military training never fully dormant. 2 ships entering Europa's orbit. 1 Earth, 1 Lasari. Clara joined her at the display, her face showing both hope and apprehension. They're hailing each other, not searching for us. The signatures. Her silver eyes widened. The Lasari vessel belongs to my sister, Vendra. She leads the progressive faction. And the Earth ship. Admiral Hawthorne, Rachel confirmed, recognizing the energy pattern. They've found each other, even if they haven't found us. Perhaps, Clara said, taking Rachel's hand, it's time to let them. Rachel turned to her partner, seeing the same love and uncertainty she felt reflected in those alien eyes. Their sanctuary had become more than a hiding place, it was home. But they couldn't hide forever, not if they wanted their daughter to truly unite their peoples. Together? Rachel asked, squeezing Clara's hand. Always, Clara replied, sending waves of affection through their bond. Our daughter deserves a world where she doesn't have to hide who she is. Above them, representatives of Earth and Lasari continued their orbital dance, searching for a way forward. Below, in their crystal-lit sanctuary, 2 women from different stars held each other, waiting for the right moment to show both their peoples that love knew no boundaries, not even those of space and species. The birthing chamber pulsed with bioluminescent energy as Clara's labor intensified. Rachel hadn't left her side for 36 hours, their bond transmitting every contraction, every surge of pain and determination. The hybrid pregnancy had accelerated in its final weeks, their daughter's unique genetics creating complications that neither human nor Lasari medicine had fully anticipated. She comes, Clara gasped, her silver eyes glowing brighter than Rachel had ever seen. She bridges the void between stars. Admiral Hawthorne and Clara's sister Vendra waited in the outer chamber, their presence representing the cautious hope of both civilizations. The past week had seen intense negotiations, with the imminent birth serving as a catalyst for unprecedented cooperation between humans and Lasari. One more push, Rachel encouraged, feeling their daughter's consciousness brush against her mind with increasing strength. She's ready to meet us. Clara's cry echoed through the crystal chambers as their daughter finally entered the world. The infant's skin shimmered with a subtle iridescence, her hair a striking blend of human brown and Lasari midnight blue. When she opened her eyes, they were silver like Clara's but with distinct pupils like Rachel's. She's perfect, Rachel whispered, cradling their daughter as Clara recovered. The baby's mind reached out to both of them, her thoughts already showing a complexity that transcended her newborn state. Lyra, Clara said softly. Her name is Lyra, after the constellation that hangs between our worlds. The sanctuary's crystals pulsed in harmony with the child's emerging consciousness, responding to her unique energy signature. Through their family bond, Rachel could feel Lyra processing everything around her, her hybrid mind bridging human analytical thought with Lasari intuitive understanding. When Admiral Hawthorne and Vendra were finally allowed to enter, their reactions spoke volumes. The Admiral, hardened by decades of military service, had tears in his eyes. Vendra, typically reserved even for a Lasari, reached out to touch Lyra's hand with trembling fingers. The genetic readings are extraordinary, Vendra said, scanning the child with Lasari instruments. She carries the best of both species. The hybridization has activated dormant genes we didn't even know existed in either genome. More importantly, Hawthorne added, watching Lyra respond to both human and Lasari presence with equal comfort, she represents hope. The Joint Council has agreed to establish a permanent diplomatic mission here on Europa. Rachel held Clara's hand as they watched their daughter charm both their people's representatives. Lyra's every movement, every telepathic touch, proved that their species were not just compatible but complementary. Where humans brought adaptability and innovation, the Lasari brought wisdom and psychic advancement. Together, they could be so much more. She will face challenges, Clara said through their bond, her thoughts tinged with both pride and concern. Being first is never easy. She won't face them alone, Rachel replied, sending waves of love to both her partner and their child. And she won't be the only one for long. The implications of Rachel's words rippled through their bond. Other Lasari progressives had already expressed interest in the hybridization program, and several humans had volunteered as potential genetic donors. Lyra would be the first of her kind, but not the last. Above them, Europa's ice sheet filtered Jupiter's light into patterns that matched the sanctuary's crystals. Below, in the warm chambers that had sheltered their love, a new species took its first breaths, reaching out to touch both the worlds that had created her with wonder and acceptance that only a child could offer. 5 years passed in the blink of a cosmic eye. The Europa settlement, once a hidden sanctuary, had grown into a thriving diplomatic hub where humans and Lasari worked side by side. Lyra, now a precocious 5-year-old, darted through the crystalline corridors, her mixed heritage evident in everything from her shimmering skin to her unprecedented psychic abilities. "Mother, watch this." Lyra called out to Rachel, levitating a series of crystal shards into a complex orbital pattern while simultaneously solving differential equations on her learning pad. Her silver-pupilled eyes sparkled with achievement. "Impressive," Clara said, entering the chamber in her formal diplomatic robes. "But don't forget to maintain your mental shields, little star. Not everyone is comfortable with such strong telepathic projections." The family's quarters had become a testament to successful integration. Human art hung beside Lasari light sculptures, while data screens displayed both English and the flowing script of the Lasari language. Through the viewport, Jupiter's massive form dominated the horizon, a constant reminder of their unique position between worlds. "The council is ready," Rachel said, straightening her Earth Force dress uniform, now adorned with the insignia of both species. 17 new hybrid pairs have been approved. Clara nodded, her silver eyes reflecting both triumph and responsibility. "And the genetic compatibility protocols we developed from Lyra's success have increased viability to 98%. The hybridization program had evolved far beyond its desperate beginnings. What started as the Lasari's last hope for survival had become a bridge between civilizations. Each new hybrid child strengthened the bonds between their peoples, while advancing both species' understanding of genetics, psychic potential, and the very nature of consciousness." Lyra took both her mother's hands as they walked to the council chamber. The massive doors, inscribed with the intertwined symbols of Earth and Lasaria, opened to reveal a packed assembly. Admiral Hawthorne and Vendra, now co-chairs of the Hybrid Integration Committee, stood to greet them. "The data speaks for itself," Hawthorne announced to the gathered delegates. "The hybrid children show enhanced cognitive abilities, improved immune responses, and unprecedented psychic development. But more importantly," he smiled at Lyra, "they show us what we can become when we move beyond fear of difference." Vendra stepped forward, her traditional Lasari robes modified with human design elements. 5 years ago, my sister and a human lieutenant showed us that love transcends species. Today, we formalize what they proved, that we are stronger together than apart." The ratification was unanimous. The Lasari would share their psychic advancement and biological technology, while humans would contribute their adaptability and innovation. The hybrid program would continue under joint oversight, with all participation strictly voluntary. Rachel squeezed Clara's hand as the chamber erupted in applause. Through their bond, strengthened by years of love and shared purpose, they felt each other's joy and vindication. Their daughter, the bridge between stars, stood tall between them, her dual heritage a living testament to possibility. "What happens next?" Lyra asked, her young mind already reaching toward the future. Rachel looked at Clara, seeing in those alien eyes the same love that had driven her to defect 5 years ago. "Next, little star, we keep exploring, not just space, but all the ways our peoples can grow together. After all," Clara added, drawing both her loves into an embrace, "the universe is vast, and we've only begun to discover what we can become. Above them, through the ice of Europa, stars sparkled, countless points of light that no longer seemed so distant or alien. In the chamber below, two species looked toward a shared future, guided by the love of two women who dared to bridge the void between worlds.